Green light. Get the revs up. 4,000 RPM. Check the lights. And away we go. Suzuki launches much better on the back wheel. Does he keep the power on? Yes, he does. Down towards the end of the strip, and the Kawasaki's coming back. 9.91 for the Zook and 9.92 for the Kawasaki. Just got to make a point that we had in fact blocked off the roads during those top speed runs, so anybody out there that's concerned about us speeding on public roads, we did block off the roads. Joining me in studio are the two crazy test pilots, Gary here, Matt over there. Guys, welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you very much.
First time on Two Wheels Studio. Matt, nice makeup, you're looking good.
Thanks, suits me, do you think so?
The reason I've got you in the studio though is to talk about those bikes and to give your honest opinions on them. Gary, the Kawasaki, we said during the piece that it had a little bit more top end power, but the Suzuki scored in the mid-range. Would you think that's an important thing that people wanting to buy these bikes, do they take that into account?
You know, Dave, I have a lot of friends that have both makes of motorbikes, and you know what, I keep getting asked what is the best motorbike, and you know, in my personal capacity I still feel that the Suzuki is definitely the best bike.
Okay, we're going to come down to who chooses the best bike a bit later on, but I would say, Matt, the important thing here is they're both hyper bikes, and what's important is that they're going to stop making these bikes that go with that sort of speed. Kawasaki and Suzuki have agreed no more of these bikes from next year.
Supposedly so, yeah, 300 km/h top end limit, which is what, 186 miles an hour. Now both of them will push through that genuine speeds. Must be 195 miles an hour they'll touch, so up around 310 k's an hour. So yeah, it could be the last time we get to ride anything quite so quick.
Did you enjoy the shootout? Did you enjoy the test?
I did, I've got to be honest, it scared me, trying to follow this man around everywhere. It's frightening stuff, and I don't know if anyone noticed, but the leather's got a little bit tatty during that shoot. Let's laugh in, boys, please.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that in a few moments' time as well. Gary, your honest opinion though, you say the Suzuki is the better bike, but a lot more comes into just what is the better bike at the end of the day. I mean, there's comfort handling and all that type of thing, but your overall opinion was saying the better bike. But what makes you say that at the end of the day?
You know, Dave, obviously with being out there the whole day on both bikes, the Hayabusa is definitely easier to ride. The only thing that I just liked on it on the track is when you accelerate hard, you tend to slide to the back of the seat. Otherwise, like everything, the brakes are real good. The riding position is comfortable. I like the gearbox. Obviously with the drag, it launched a lot better than the ZX-12. The brakes were awesome. I mean, I managed to do some endos on it, which I see you haven't shown. But like I say, you know, definitely...
so you obviously got the wrong shirt on there. What we're going to do though, we got Matt's scorings. We've done a little scoring there out of 10. I'm going to put these up on the screen. Matt, this is how you actually rated the bikes, and comfort 7 and 6. Obviously you felt the Kawasaki was more comfortable.
I'd give it the nod, yeah. The thing that lets the Suzuki down for me is the wind protection. There really isn't very much. If you want to cover distance, that screen is very, very low. Makes sense for when you're chin on the tank going for the top speeds, but all other times it's a bit of a pain. Kawasaki is much more comfortable. There's a bit more leg room, seats nicer, more of a stretch for your arms, and more protection.
Handling?
Handling-wise, the Kawasaki I felt was a little bit easier to get to grips with. It's softer on the springs, front and rear. The Suzuki was the one to have at the track, definitely. It was a bit tauter, it was sharper steering. You could go quicker on that, no problem.
A big difference here on the brakes, Matt. This is really where the Suzuki did score. You felt the brakes were much better.
Yeah, a lot of bite. As soon as you start getting on that lever, it hauls that bike down big time. The Kawasaki's lacked a bit of feel, which is strange. Kawasaki's I've ridden ZX-12s before, and they weren't. The disparity wasn't that big. But this time, yeah, the Suzuki definitely
on the track, obviously a big difference there. Engine performance. This is just overall performance. And you were saying just before we came to air, you might like to change the score.
Yeah, I was looking back at it and thinking we've got two of the most powerful motorcycles ever been built, and I've given them an 8 and a 7.5. It should be a 9.5 and a 9 or something. But
again, looks and overall finish, you obviously went for the Kawa there again.
Yeah, I think so. It's a personal thing, isn't it, looks? I think the Suzuki, no offence to Suzuki, it appeals to some, but I think it's a bit of an ugly old brute.
Okay, so 38 plays 36.5. Thanks, Matt, for that. Let's take a look at Gary's ratings on the Kawasaki and, of course, the Suzuki. Gary, comfort, you also rated the Kawa slightly higher than the Suzuki.
Yeah, Dave, like I was saying, you know, that the Suzuki is definitely, it's uncomfortable when you accelerate real hard. Same again with the brakes. I definitely felt the Suzuki's brakes were fantastic, especially on the open road, you know. At 300 k's an hour, it stopped a lot faster than the
obviously
Kawasaki.
For you, what counts more than anything, I guess, is the engine performance.
Yeah, Dave, you know what, I love horsepower. And, no, definitely.
Counts at the end of the day. Okay, so that is the scorings. You scored the Suzuki slightly ahead of the Kawasaki. So it just shows you really, and this is not fixed. This is really the way you felt about it. So Matt, you went for the Kawa, should be wearing the green shirt. Gary should be wearing the black Suzuki shirt. So a difference of opinion. But when you're spending over 100,000 Rand, because the bikes are around 108,000 Rand for those brutes, obviously at the end of the day, it's a discerning buyer. But you got to admit, it's probably going to be the guy who's a Suzuki fan will buy the Suzuki.
Exactly. They're both so incredibly capable. They're both so fast. I mean, it comes down to what colour you like. Are you a Suzuki or a Kawasaki fan?
Well, guys, thanks for joining me today. Gary, thanks for your input. Thanks for the wild riding, guys. And let's just take a look at this, because you might actually enjoy this one.
No, I won't.
Honestly, it was Gary.